And when something like this happens on a campus, whether that's a high school campus, elementary school campus, college campus, you think of the students, you think of the parents as well. You said you had conversations with them. What were those conversations like as they wait to hear from their daughters or their sons to know that they're okay? What you're looking at right there are the only pictures that we have of the suspect that were released by Michigan State Police. This was about an hour ago when we received these images for the very first time. That suspect, we're told, was a black male, shorter in stature, wearing red shoes, a jean jacket, and a baseball cap, and is still at large. We are awaiting another update from police and possibly Sparrow Hospital, where 5 victims were taken. You see at the bottom of your screen there, 5 victims hospitalized, some with life-threatening injuries, in addition to the latest report from Michigan State Police that there are also 3 others who were killed in this shooting. To clear them and secure those areas, and one of those areas that has been secured is Berkey Hall, on top of Brody Hall, Snyder Phillips Hall. This is coming from Michigan State Police and Public Safety about an hour ago. Mason Hall, Abbott Hall, Landon Hall, and that MSU Union building. So both of the locations where we know shots rang out from have since been cleared and secured. Not a broken record, but those are the exact same words that we used when we talked about the Oxford High School shooting when we were sitting at this desk. You can't imagine something like this. You see it happening around the country, but it never really hits you truly until it happens in your own backyard.
Right.
That's what we were saying then, and here we are just months down the road saying the exact same thing. So unfortunately, some of these students do know what it's like to go through something like this. In the meantime, no longer an active threat on campus, no longer a need to shelter in place. So mixed emotions for students on campus right now. One, relief in some ways because this incident that has been going on for almost 4.5 hours can at least for tonight come to a close, but terror as well, considering what they have been through and those 8 victims. Josh, you speak about the messages that were shared tonight. I think the biggest message that was consistent, no matter who stepped up to speak, whether it was at the vigil or others that we've talked to in the community and on campus, is that Michigan State is Spartan strong, and we saw that by just the sheer number of people who were at that vigil. We have reported most of the students have left the campus, right? But I would imagine every other student who is still on campus was in attendance there tonight. When something like this happens, it's so easy to only consider the bad in the world, of which there is a lot. But as Tom Izzo touched on, we must also consider the good, the first responders, the 911 dispatchers, the doctors who have worked and continue to work to save lives. To me, some of the most powerful words that have come to the surface during this tragedy are from one of the victims, Alexandria Verner, in a senior spotlight when she was at Clawson High School. She had this quote: "Today may be hard, but tomorrow will be better." Now, that was from 2020. At that time, a much different message. It was advice she was just sharing to underclassmen who felt like they wanted to quit. 3 years later, those same words take on a completely different meaning as we mourn her loss and the loss of 2 of her fellow classmates. Today is hard. Tomorrow is going to be better. It's a long road of recovery ahead, mentally and physically, for those students and teachers on campus and the rest of the Lansing community, and quite frankly, the entire state and the nation. But if there is one thing about this state, we hold each other up and we will help each other heal together. The board members here and people who use this library on a constant basis are going to be very happy with this update. 2 of 4 precincts have fully submitted all of their numbers, and I can tell you right now, we just got these numbers right at the top of the hour. 61.4% of people approving this latest millage, 38.6% of people voting no. Again, that's just half of the full count of votes so far, but that's a complete reversal from the first time this was on the ballot back in August of last year during the primaries. 62% of voters then rejecting the millage, but now quite the opposite this time around. There is a strike benefit fund in which they're going to be getting paid $500 a week for however long this lasts. I think part of the strategy to not have everyone at every plant striking at the same time is to make that fund last a little bit longer At this point, they're estimating they can get to 3 months down the line. What happens after that if we still haven't reached a deal?
Hey, that's a really good question that I don't have a really good answer to.
What about further down the line? 4 years down the line, just a random number I could think of. Do you envision yourself, Governor Whitmer, living in a different house, possibly a White House?
Well, I can guarantee I'll be living in a different house because I won't be governor anymore.
Okay.
We have to move out of the house.
We'll start there. The clock is ticking and time is running out to be able to fund the government. At the same time, an impeachment inquiry was just launched into President Joe Biden. Why are these two things happening at the same time? Even if you think that an inquiry into Biden is necessary, why couldn't they wait until after they knew they were going to avoid a government shutdown? Obviously, very important to have your voice because, as we've been reporting, EF1 tornado, 110 miles an hour. These are conditions that we haven't seen here in quite some time in West Michigan. So just curious, from your personal perspective, just what you've been seeing, how would you describe the destruction out there so far? And with that destruction usually comes power outages. I think I saw somewhere at the peak it was about 200,000 people in the state without power, homes and businesses. Looking at the map right now, that number's been reduced by about 20%. It's down to 161,000. Where would you say your crews are at in their efforts to restore that power so far? You had her ex-boyfriend. Now you're taking her kidney. Is there anything else you want? What else do you need?
I mean, I'm good. Her house is nice, but I'm good.